was some of the most despicable behavior I've ever seen in my life, guys. Let's crack into this real quick. I mean, I had to cover this as I saw it. I'm out here taking Gizmo for a walk, and I've got a couple of foster dogs right now that I'm fostering since losing cash. Want to try to help the LA shelter out and do some good. Both of these guys are from the LA shelter. Don't know if I'm going to keep them or not. But regardless, yeah, it was just a terrible video and a terrible moment for just humanity, right? And normally I'm not for doxing people, but in this case, this woman needs, I mean, she needs to be called out, right? And she is so far. I mean, this video has gone viral. It's garnered 21 million views so far. And it's just gonna keep getting more. It has more views than the Joe Rogan Trump video, which is funny. But going beyond the politics of this, I wanna get into why these women are so angry, right? That's what I really wanna talk about here, because we could easily talk about like, oh yeah, these liberals are like that, you know? And I get that, but let's really dig it deep into what's going on here as a dating coach, right? Because I see these women all the time, not only this woman at the rally, but in my comment section, right? They're all the same. They kind of have this same type of rage inside of them, the same type of anger, these anger issues. And you have to ask yourself, where is this coming from? Because you don't see married women acting out like this, right? You don't see women with families acting out like this and screaming in a toddler's face. I mean, this child is probably, I don't even know, I mean, it's probably barely like a year or two old, right? And this woman gets in her face and starts screaming and cursing, saying, if you couldn't make it out, she said, "Your dad is a bitch," or something like that. And nobody really knows what led to this altercation, but that doesn't even matter. I mean, there is no excuse for this type of behavior. Zero. This is a helpless child, right? It is a helpless child. It's like yelling in an animal's face or something, you know? I mean, these guys are seniors. They're like, I think they're about like 8 years old. And I feel terrible for these type of animals that are in the shelters because they end up euthanizing them. And of course, these guys were, you know, on death row themselves. So I wanted to get them out of there all we could. And Gizmo's kind of like, doesn't know if he's feeling it or not. So regardless, yeah, it's like, you know, getting into you know, like a little puppy's face and screaming at the puppy, right? I mean, but this is a child. There's just zero excuse for it. And this woman had no shame for herself. The father even said, like, "Hey, do you have no shame? Are you not ashamed?" And what did she do? She doubled down, you know? And what was even more despicable was the person or the people around them, including the person filming it, was laughing, right? They thought it was funny when this woman went and screamed in this toddler's face. I mean, you really have to ask yourself, how low have you sunk in life? You know, are you that morally bankrupt to where you are now screaming in a child's face? Right? I mean, it's not like it's, you know, a high schooler or teenager or anything like that. This is a toddler, man. This kid is basically still in diapers, and you're screaming in this kid's face. And, you know, and I really always like to dig into the psychology of people with anger issues. You know, I feel like I'm an expert at dealing with people with anger issues. And I teach a lot of this self-development stuff along with my pickup stuff, because in order to be good at pickups, sorry, there's an airplane going by, you have to be good at self-improvement, right? You have to be good at identifying social behaviors that are unacceptable in this case. You have to be good at identifying other people's social weaknesses and why they would just act out and do stuff like this, right? I mean, just yesterday, as a matter of fact, I was at one of my buddy's properties, right? And I pulled in there because he wanted me to meet him there. And it's this big like apartment building. And I was parked and he told me exactly where to park. And then the maintenance guy pulls in, this Hispanic guy, in his old pickup truck and just really angrily was like, "Do you live here?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, you can't park here, blah, 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 blah. Right? And I was trying to get a word in before he kept making a fool of himself. And finally, I just waited. He's like just going off. And then he, oh yeah, you're not supposed to park here, blah, blah, blah. And then he was like, so are you gonna answer? What are you doing here? And I said, one of my best friends owns this building. Then he froze, like half of them believed me, half of them didn't, until my buddy pulls up. And then he looks, oh, hi, sir. What's the problem, right? I could have told my buddy, hey, fire this guy. You know what? He's that loyal to me, he would have done it. He would have been like, get out of here, get your ass out of here. You don't talk to my friend that way, right? But I told him, you know, and then he told the guy, hey, come here, right? I don't know what he said to him, but the guy like went back with his head down and he looked at me. Sorry, sir. And then he got in his car. He's like, you sure you don't want me to fire him? I'm like, no, he probably has like kids and stuff like that. I don't want to get him fired, right? Got a heart. Emma has a heart, right? I have a little social empathy, but I guarantee if it was backwards, that dude, and it was me, that dude would have been like, yo, fire him, you know? But I have empathy. Regardless, when it comes to people with anger issues, especially these women, right? Especially these women, which are a whole lot of them these days, right? I mean, especially going to these KAMALA rallies. I don't care what side you're on, right? I'm a dating coach, not a political guy. I look at everything from a social improvement aspect or a pickup artist aspect. But overwhelmingly, obviously, at Kamala's rallies, she's pandering to these type of women who are single, unmarried, no family, never had kids, and she's basically encouraging them to become more of victims and more angry, you know, not at themselves for their own personal poor choices in life, but at men, right? So a lot of that anger is stemming from their anger at their own poor decisions that they made, I mean, mostly in men. So when you see a woman like that, I mean, you can tell. I mean, just like the maintenance guy yesterday, is he really mad at me because I parked where my friend told me to park, and I was kind of parked in a spot I wasn't supposed to be in, even though my friend owns the building. He said park there. Was he really angry at me? No, he's not angry at me. I mean, really, does he care if I park there at the bottom at the end of the day? No. What he's really angry about is his terrible life choices, which led him to become a 55-year-old maintenance guy, you know, working in this building in, you know, I mean, it's a decent part of town. But he's really angry at himself, and, you know, maybe his old lady is cheating on him, and, you know, he's simping to her, right? And, you know, maybe his kids hate him. And then instead of looking within himself like a grown man and going, hey, maybe I made some poor choices in life that I need to fix, and I need to be adult about this, and I need to grow a backbone and do something, he projects it onto other people, like other people who he feels like are doing something that is annoying him, or any pet peeves, like, all right, you know. So same thing with these women, right? Anybody who has anger issues, what they're really doing is self-projecting their own poor decisions in life, their own self-loathing, their own hatred of their own, you know, their own lives, right, onto you, right? And to me, that's just pathetic. It's just weak, and it's very immature, put it that way. So obviously what this woman did was exactly that. It was very immature, it was very weak, it was very pathetic, and really, at the end of the day, she is self-projecting all of her own anger onto, sadly, this child, right? This toddler. You know, the poor choices she made, which I will tell you, most of, at her age and because of her gender, and she's a white woman, is because of the choices she made mostly in men. Because again, going back to this, from a dating aspect, these women who are happily married with families and kids at home, you will not see any videos of them screaming in toddlers' faces like that, right? And you're just not going to see that, right? However, when it comes to these type of women, yes, you will. You'll see a lot of this behavior. And sadly, I don't think that's the first time. I don't think that's the first time she's done anything like this. I think she's done several things like this. It's only now that she's getting caught, right? Because it's on camera. And again, what's worse is the people around her laughing, thinking this is funny. This is just the most disgusting demonstration of human behavior I've seen in a long time, you know, in a long time. And she should definitely be ashamed of herself. But at the end of the day, it's her fault for the choices in men that she's made, the people she's listened to, like listening to Kamala, for example, or Hillary, or The View, or Michelle Obama, telling her like, men are getting paid more than you, and oh, don't let a man tell you what to do, and you know what really made me laugh when I saw all these women at the rally? They all had this sign that said "Trust Women." Do you guys see that? Right? They have all this sign that said "Trust Women," and I was thinking to myself, yeah, like how well has that worked out for guys so far? Trusting women. Just why don't you guys go to a divorce court and carry that sign around and see how men feel about that? They should still trust women. But regardless, let's be honest here. When you see these women rage out like that, when you see a lot of these post-wall, still single, forever single Jezebels. I mean, this chick's definitely a Jezebel, right? Jezebels, thoughts, these 30-plus-year-old single women who can't hang on to a man, still single, on the dating apps. These type of women, they're angry. They're angry at all the chads that have banged them and left them, didn't stick around. And instead of looking in the mirror and going, hey, I made some poor choices, I could have done better, I listened to the wrong people, I listened to the wrong bad advice, instead of taking any accountability, what do? They project it onto others, right? They project it onto others. This is what anybody with anger issues does, right? But I mean, including the maintenance guys, just talk about it. I mean, it's just, instead of taking accountability and going, hey, I made some crap ass decisions, to where you can fix it and then maybe get a little success for yourself, or change yourself or improve yourself, you project it. That way you don't have to take accountability, right? Like this woman, she doesn't have to take any accountability for all the chads she's banged and all the dudes she let in between her legs and all the wrong choices she made, to where now it's going to be impossible for her to ever get married and have a family and be happy. Right? Instead of her taking any responsibility for that, she just projects it, sadly, onto this child, right? And onto all the others that we don't have on video of her, whatever, she's been doing out there in the world, just like projecting her anger onto others. And yeah, it's just really despicable, man. I can't stand that, I can't stand just when people are so weak like that, and they don't take any responsibility for their actions. And you can see it in just after she yelled at that child, right? She still didn't. There was no apology from this woman. There's no, because sooner or later they're going to find out who she is. And apparently she works for the DNC. So I don't think it'd be that hard. Maybe they're protecting her, but they shouldn't, right? And she should be ousted. And people should know, like, hey, look what this woman did, because I guarantee it's not the first, and if she's not stopped, it ain't gonna be the last. And so and you'll see a lot more of this style of behavior, maybe not to this extreme level where you see these women yelling in child's faces, but you'll see a lot more of this like angry woman behavior as these people continue to go around spreading this conspiracy theory that men are the enemy, right? And I mean, really, at the end of the day, this is why I can never get on board with the left, is because that is what they've become these days. I remember not even that long ago, it seems like they were the party of the working man, free speech and all this, and I was on board with that, especially growing up in San Francisco and California. I was definitely on board with that, but that's not what they want anymore. Now it's about hating men and going against anything traditional, and not crapping on women who have families and women who want to get married, and just making men the enemy and blaming men for everything. I mean, at the end of the day, it's just blatant Marxism. That's all it is. I mean, and if you look at, if you study the traits of Marxism and you look at what the left is doing, I mean, it's to the perfect T, right? They're removing men from the household. They're making the government the husbands of these women, and these women are just too naive and too gullible to think for themselves, right? They're really like pack animals. They'll follow the pack. They don't really have individual thought, right? So anyway, a lot of planes going on right here. It's an airport right near me. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think of that video of that woman screaming in this child's face. If you have any more information on it, any more details, drop them below. Really terrible behavior on this woman's part. I was really disgusted by it when I saw it, and I don't even have kids, and personally I don't really even care for kids, but I obviously, you know, I would, you know, protect the child if that was my child, or even a relative, or even a friend's child, right? I would get in this woman's face. Yeah, but it's sad of the reaction too, because there was only one woman, that black woman, who pulled her off and was like, hey, what are you doing? Right? What are you doing? And I hope she has an awakening and realizes what she's supporting, right? Look at what you're supporting, right? And again, I don't do the whole left-right thing. I just look at good versus evil. And you have to ask yourself, what are you supporting? Okay? So many planes. In any case, guys, drop your comments below. Let me know what you think of this coaching video here as this plane flies by. I'm at this office park right now. It's empty. It's just an easy spot to take these guys out because, I mean, Gizmo doesn't run from me, but these two guys, he's okay without a leash. But this one will definitely run. So, still trying to build some trust with them, which is sometimes the best part of having a dog. But yeah, I gotta see how Gizmo feels about these guys. I don't think I can handle all three of them, so I'd probably just foster them for a while till I get them home. And, I was looking for a cattle dog myself, and I think that would be fun. But regardless, drop your comments below. I'll see you in the next coaching video.